He's back, and this time he's weaker than ever. Welcome back everyone to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today I'm going to take a look at Baby Blacephalon for the Darkness Ablaze format. We'll jump onto PTCGO and see how we can get this disaster of a deck to work. Obviously losing a lot of really strong cards in our recent rotation. Baby Blacephalon is still very powerful, but the fact that you can't search out energy as easily could potentially be a downfall for it. What we'll do is we'll jump over onto PTCGO now and check out the list. So this Baby Blacephalon list, I'm not going to lie to you, I found it on Twitter. I can't remember exactly who I got it from, but it looked fun, and so I decided to play it. It's actually pretty solid, so really good job to whoever's list it is. When I find out, I will send a link through in the description, but it's obviously based around Fireball Circus from Baby Blacephalon. This is really the only one prize attacker that has had any success in the last 3 or so months. It's because Fireball Circus can do a ton of damage, upwards of 300 depending on how many energy we have in hand. We have 3 on the active, and then 50 times the amount of fire energy that we discard from our hand is dealt to our opponent. That means if we've got 3 on the active and 7 in our hand, we can take a one-shot knockout on everything in the game, which is a very good place to be, especially with decks like Eternatus and ADP having a lot of powerful cards in them at the moment. So Blacephalon, very strong attacker. You've got it paired up in this list with a couple of cool little guys. Cramorant is obviously a strong play in this format as well. Beat Catch, a very good attack. The ability to search for 2 cards and put them into your deck is a good ability, especially if you're going second, which this deck likes to do. And Spit Shot for 3 energy. Can take knockouts on pretty much anything on the bench. Obviously, Crobat V now a little bit beyond the 160 damage that we can deal, but Dedenne and things like that are going to be relatively easily knocked out. Those are our only attackers. Every other Pokemon in the deck is a support Pokemon. We have 15 in total, so there's 10 support Pokemon here. 4 Jirachi, 2 Dedenne as our kind of generic support Pokemon. Then we have a Zacian V, which we're going to try and get out early game to support our setup. We've got Oricorio-GX to bring out in the mid to late game to support us once our Blacephalons have been knocked out. And we have Mewtwo with Mind Report, which we can pick up again and use for a second or even third time with Scoop Up Net to put ourselves some supporters back on top of the deck, and then resetting whole Marshadow, which is much more important now than it ever has been, because our only way of searching out fire energy from the deck is Giant Hearth. We want to have that in play as frequently as possible, and Marshadow obviously can get rid of things like Chaotic Swell to help our Hearths get back into play. So we need to search for energy that way. If we've already used energy, we can use Fire Crystal, which has obviously remained in the format, as well as 1 copy of Energy Retrieval to try and get those energies back into our hand, or we can shuffle them into the deck with Ordinary Rod as well. So that's the way we're going to try and grab those energies back. Our Pokemon search, not as good as it used to be. We obviously used to have things like Ultra Space, which could search out Blacephalons. Now we just have 4 copies of Quick Ball and a Great Ball, and that is it. We're going to have to hope that that will do the job, although to be fair, most of the time it will. And we've got our Jirachi in the active, so we can search them out anyway, and we can get them out of the active with Switch, or even the 4 copies of Scoop Up now. Now I said we want to use our Mewtwo to get Welders back. We have 4 copies of those. We also have 1 Boss's Orders. In this kind of setup, we're just trying to take knockouts on whatever's in the active, so it's not too big of a deal, but if we do get an opportunity, Boss's Orders can potentially win us the game. The big thing for this deck that I'm really excited about is the fact that we have 17 fire energy. So if we ever miss an energy attachment, I'm going to be very upset with myself because there's so many of them in the deck. It's gonna be very interesting to see what our hands look like. There's enough here with Blacephalon to get it across the line. It's obviously not quite as strong as it used to be. What I'll do is I'll jump onto the ladder and see if we can't play a few games and get that Fireball Circus back to where it was. Alright, game 1. We'll see if we can't get ourselves some big knockouts here. Flip the coin. We want to go second if we can. So losing the coin flip isn't always a bad thing. Our opponents often like to go first, which is good. We've got a Cramorant and a Dedenne. Both of those are cards that are pretty good. Just going to move my little bottle of Pepsi in front of my computer screen there that I couldn't see what was going on properly. So, going to move that out of the way. Subtly moving that out of the frame. Although it wasn't in the frame for you, it was in my frame. I have a frame. Anyway, this is not great. Playing against Dragapult. Okay, so what we're probably going to end up doing here, hopefully we get a top deck of like a Blacephalon. If we get that, then that would be fantastic. If we don't, I think we just weld it to the Cramorant. We could potentially deal 160 to the Dragapult, which means that it's going to be easier to knock out later. So I think that's going to be the best route of play, but we have the Dedenne, and we have a top deck. Ooh, Oricorio. Okay, so that's not super useful. We will welder 2 energy to the active. We've got ourselves an energy here. We've got a Giant Hearth as well. I think it's going to just be an attachment. We'll deal 160 to the bench. I think that's probably fine. We'll play down the Oricorio. And do we Dedenne now, or do we just Spit Shot? I think we probably just Spit Shot. I'm kind of torn. I think this is the right way to go. We don't really need anything next turn, but we are forcing ourselves to hit a lot. If we don't Dedenne, I just didn't want to remove the switch and energy retrieval from hand. I want to at least get a little bit of value out of that if I can. Not ideal, obviously, but now that VMAX is in play, VMAX has 320 HP, 160 plus 160 is 320, so Spit Shot can get a knockout on Dragapult, and I don't think that they are going to be able to knock our Cramorant out this turn, so we could potentially find ourselves 3 prizes if we are able to get into a single welder. It's not likely, but it's not, like, unlikely either, so we will see. Looks like they're going for a Zigzagoon tick onto the Oricorio on the bench. It's fair enough. And another Dragapult. I don't know why it is, but every time I start to play Pokemon, I start to yawn. Oh, boy. 130 damage. Okay, here we go. So, what do we top deck? A Jirachi. Now, that's interesting. We can switch into this Jirachi, and we can try and find a welder. Okay, we didn't find a welder. That's fine. Do we want to get rid of anything? I mean, I guess we could grab the Quick Ball. Even if we just discard it, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think if we just grab this Quick Ball, this is okay. What we can do is we can just Quick Ball away the energy retrieval. We don't really need it. Oh, what we could have done, this is another classic, is that I could have used energy retrieval to get 2 fire energies from the discard pile, attached one, discarded the other. Whatever. Doesn't matter. We will scoop up the Jirachi, and I'll chuck the Baby Blacephalon into the active, because then if we only find 1 energy, I can at least attack for 60. Ooh, a welder and 2 energy. I don't mind the sound of that. Let's discard this Jirachi, grab ourselves a couple of extra energy here, because we need to have a few in our hand. We want to make sure that we can get that extra damage done. We've got 2 Fire Crystals now, 3 energy in the discard pile, so let's grab those, and we will be able to attach. And then Fireball Circus, we'll discard 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Click, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, thank you. I don't know why I wasn't selecting it there, and then we will be good to go. We'll take 3 prizes. I don't think our opponent can really knock out a Baby Blacephalon with no energy in play. They could like Rose, which would be frustrating, but I think we've actually given ourselves a really good chance to win this game, which is a silly thing to be thinking about. But yeah, we obviously got a big knockout there, which is good. Could have potentially done it with Cramorant, but like I said, didn't want to risk not getting an attack off at all, and the Blazer still would have been useful. Scoop up net coming here from our opponent into another Jirachi. They'll keep Stellar Wishing. They've got a Marnie in hand. They might want to do that. Get rid of our hand and frustrate me. But if they Marnie, then they might find us another Welder, which is what we're looking for, I guess. Or some other energy cards. Energy kind of I don't know what you want to call them, recursion cards, energy recycling cards. No heads on the coin flip for the catcher. We're in a relatively good spot. Here comes the money. Our opponent has switched into the Dragapult. So we can potentially knock that out next turn if everything goes well. Here comes another Crushing Hammer. Got a pretty good hand here as well for what is about to happen. We've got Welder for 1 energy, and we can search out a couple of others as well. I think that that's probably a smart thing to do. We'll get rid of Jirachi and grab 2 more fires, and we can welder onto the active, or we can just like attach and then welder to Cramorant. What's a better play here? I think it's better to just welder to the active. We can just attach once and then draw some cards. Perfect. Excellent. I'll play down this Blacephalon. We'll use the Fire Crystal, grab some of those energies out of the discard pile, and now I can afford to attach one to another Blacephalon, and then Fireball Circus. We're going to have to get rid of all 5 of them here, because Dragapult obviously has 210, but that's okay. We are now 1 prize away from winning this game. And if our last prize is a Fire Energy, we might be able to Blazer onto a Jirachi here if we do get knocked out. I am assuming, of course, that we will get knocked out. It's only going to take like a couple of things for that to happen. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm going to have a nap. Playing the Blacephalon, so exciting. I'm falling asleep. Scoop up into another Jirachi. See what they can get off of their Stellar Wish here, a Professor's Research, so they're going to have access to a ton of stuff. They might also try and stall us out with that Fion on the bench as well. We've got switches in hand. I'm unlikely to see a coin flip come up. We should put the Jirachi in the active here, and then they're not going to be able to knock it out. We can just switch out of it. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Oh! I knocked over that bottle that I mentioned earlier. It's all come full circle. It's all come full circle. They're going to attach. They're going to Crushing Hammer again. Got a heads again. Crushing Hammer again. Another one. And another one. Oh, another heads. Excellent. Okay, now we are definitely trying to blaze off a game. I hope that my last prize is an energy. If I'd checked it all, I would know. We're getting stamped. Means boss is now no longer an option. If they retreat, then we only have one. I mean, we need to switch now. What a game. I mean, it would have been good if we could have found ourselves a welder. That would have been perfect. Let's just see if we can get this Blazer. Let's see if we can get the Blazer going here. I don't know how many energy we've got left. There's a couple floating around. We'll attach one to the bench. Blazer? Blazer? Blazer. Here we go. Victory number 1. Very conventional. Game 2. See if we can't get ourselves another one like that. Dragapult, not necessarily a meta deck at the moment, but still very powerful, so definitely good that we managed to win that one. And I'd think that Dragapult would be expecting to beat Baby Blacephalon most of the time. We've started Zacian, which is a pretty good card to start, but the hand is terrible. And we are going first, which is also not ideal. Means that we're probably going up against a different kind of Welder deck. We have nothing to do, let's just Intrepid Sword. I'm glad that we started Zacian and not something else, because that could have been incredibly bad. We found a Jirachi off of the Intrepid Sword, so next turn, we might be able to get ourselves attacking. It looks like they've gone for a Giant Hearth as well, so we could potentially see another Welder deck here. They are going to use Marnie now, though, so we aren't going to be able to use our hand as it was. This is a pretty good looking hand. This is perfect. Okay, so we've got Quick Ball to discard something, whatever we top deck. We can discard a Fire Energy. Oh, Reshizard, okay. We can discard the Fire Energy to get Giant Hearth to give us 2 Fire Energy to welder onto our Blacephalon, and then we can Dedenne, so we're all set and ready to go here. These are like literally the 4 perfect cards to draw, or 3 perfect cards, and situation which allows us to use all 5 of them once we draw. They are switching into Reshizard and doing nothing else, and hey, Giant Hearth, that's a perfect top deck. We do not need that even remotely. So let's play down our Blacephalon here. We have to also go for the fire energy, find 2 from the hearth, then we can weld it 2 energy onto Blacephalon instead of just 1. And then after that, well, depending on what we find, we can just go straight into our Dedenne. Scoop up that Ordinary Rod, Great Ball, nothing amazing. We'll grab the other Blacephalon, I guess, off of that Great Ball. I don't really think we need to use our Ordinary Rod, so let's just Dedenne, and we'll try and find some stuff off of these cards. Nothing here. We'll attach, I think I'm going to attach to this second Blacephalon, just in case. And then I can Intrepid Sword again. We'll find Retrieval, Energy, and Quick Ball. So, good stuff for us. We're in a position now where we can potentially take a knockout next turn if our opponent is going to be kind to us. If they knock out our Zacian, we can find ourselves a Oricorio to draw some extra cards, but it doesn't look like they are going to. I think they're just going to go for like an outrage here. They're just manually attaching to Reshizards, which is not a great way to go about this particular matchup. 4 Reshizards in total, so this is a very interesting list that we are seeing from our opponent here. Just an outrage, so that'll do 80 damage. And we don't have access to extra energy anymore, although, to be fair, let me just quickly discard one of these. We can find a couple. We just need to find Switch, I think, and then we're going to be good to go. Because all we need more than that, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put them on the Blacephalon on the bench. We're looking for a Switch option. It's not forthcoming here, unfortunately. We could, like, Quick Ball to find the Oricorio now, because next turn they will definitely knock out the the Zacian, sorry. We could even get, like, the Mewtwo to get a Welder on top of the deck. I don't mind that, especially since we've got the scoop up nets floating around. Although, to be fair, now that I'm thinking about it, it probably would have been a better idea to do the Oricorio. That's okay. Let's just Dedenne. We'll draw into that Welder now. We can find ourselves some new cards next turn. We've got 2 Welders, but now we don't have any energy left because we've got 6 in play and some in the bin. So we'll just Intrepid Sword. We've found Oricorio anyway. This is like 2 wet noodles just slapping into each other at the moment. Nothing is happening. I think our opponent's going to take the first prize here. It's just a matter of whether they do it with their GX attack or not. Doesn't really bother me because I've got enough resources to deal with 2 tag teams. I can take 2 tag team knockouts pretty easily. We're going to have 4 energy and... oh my god, they're moneying again. Oh my goodness. Wouldn't want to have any fun with this one. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Okie dokie. Yes, we are fine. We're going to have plenty of energy in our hand if we want to use them. And we've got a scoop up net so we can use our Mewtwo as well. That's 4 energy with the Fire Crystal. If we are desperate, we can use the second one by retreating another Blacephalon. But we also have Giant Hearth. So we are hot to trot. We're looking for 1 energy. If we find 1 off of the top deck, I think we're in the clear. Actually, do we even need 1? No, because I've got 3 in the deck. There's 6. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I've got 3 in the discard pile. I have 6 in my hand. I don't need to find any more. I can just use Fireball Circus for 6 energy, 300 damage. I almost said 600 damage there. That'll be pretty good. And that'll be the 3 prizes. We can hopefully find a fire energy off of the prizes. That'd be really good. Because that way, we'd almost just win the game next turn. Ooh. Ooh. Hello. Hello, friends. We've got ourselves our fire energy. We've got a couple of fire crystal as well. And our opponent putting a Reshizard into the active means that unless they Marnie again, we should be in a winning spot. But they can't realistically attack us this turn with anything other than outrage. Like, they can't, because they've already GX'd. So they're not even taking a knockout this turn, which is not great. Reshizard isn't as good as it used to be. I remember when Reshizard used to be like 230 damage. That's a huge amount of damage. Not so much anymore. I think we've managed to win this game. We've got ourselves a Giant Hearth. We can get rid of that. Find 2 more energy from the discard pile. Fire Crystal, there's 6 in here. I'm just going to grab all of them. I'm going to use the second Fire Crystal as well, because that's the kind of guy I feel like being today. I'm just going to do all of the damage. Fireball Circus. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 450 damage. Thank you very much. Big knockout on the Charizard-GX. And there you go. Well, Blacephalon how surprising that it won a matchup that it used to win. One more game. We'll see whether we can get ourselves something that's a little bit more meta-relevant. Hey, one more good game. I'll be happy with that. We have lost the coin flip, but we're going second. Like I said in the first one, we have a pretty good shot of going second with Fire decks at the moment. Lots of people choosing to go first, and fair enough too. We'll see here what we're playing again. Okay, so I was saying meta-relevant. This doesn't look particularly meta-relevant. This looks like a bit of a mishmash of stuff. But I will say this. I know for a fact that Galarian Surfetched can deal 120 damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this out regardless. And try and see whether or not Baby Blounds can beat a one-prize attacker deck. Like, I mean, it's not really a one-prize attacker deck here. I'll just Intrepid Sword at the end, and we'll see what we can get. This is more of an exercise in our own consistency than anything else. I don't even know what that ducklet's doing over there. Is it going to be a Swanner? Is this a Bird Keeper deck? What is going on? There's a Fighting Energy going down and the Surfetch. There it is. It can deal 130 damage. I honestly don't know what to think. We've got a Mewtwo here, so if we want, we can get another Welder. Although, to be fair, let's see first Giant Hearth. Excellent, cool. So what we can do is we can play down this Giant Hearth. Then we can get rid of something. Let's just scoop up net or something. That's not a problem. We've got the extra energy here. Then I can... how do I have to do this? I have to scoop up the Jirachi in the active to put a fresh one into the active. Then I have to play down the Mewtwo, so I can put the Welder on top. Then I can Stellar Wish for one of 3 Welders. Yep, sure. I'm glad I used the Mewtwo. A Welder onto the Cramorant. Now I can switch into the Cramorant. Thank you, opponent. I've got a good deck, certainly do. Let's scoop up the Mewtwo. I will put a Welder back on the top, because next turn I'll be able to use Fire Crystal to get all the energies back from this Spit Shot. I'll knock out that Surfetch, because I know it's such a massive threat, and we'll see what happens here. I've got literally no idea what my opponent's going to do, so we'll see. There's a Stunfisk there. There's a Ducklet here. I don't know. I don't know. Erica's Hospitality is in this list. This is the most interesting. I don't know why I'm showing you this. I've made a decision now that no matter how this game goes, I'm going to put this into the video. This is in the video for no reason other than I think the fact that this deck exists is just such a mystery to me that it needs to be exposed. People need to see it. People need to see the fact that this deck exists. We're going to see a manual retreat from a Jirachi into a Trap Bolt, which deals 120 damage with weakness. Very nice. Big crossy face from our opponent. Yeah, it's no good, is it? We will just, I guess we just do the same thing again, right? We just Welder and we Spit Shot and hope for the best from there. I think that's probably all we really need to do. 30 plus 30 if we have more HP remaining. Okay, so if we don't knock out this Stunfisk, I don't think it can knock us out because it's got 90 HP. So I don't think it can do it. I could be wrong. Oh, actually, if it's got Fighting Energy attached, it'll be able to because of the Martial Arts Dojo, but at the moment it doesn't. So if they don't... okay, they've attached a Fighting Energy to it, sure. And now they're going to Marnie. Okay, so maybe should have played down the Hearth, because that would have stopped me getting knocked out. I wasn't thinking straight. That's okay. We've got a Fire Energy. We've got a Jirachi. We've got everything that we need. Do I promote the Jirachi, or do I just put the Blacephalon in the active? Probably, it's got to be Jirachi, right? Oh, Giant Hearth. Nice. That's a good card. That is a good card. Let's see what we get off of the Great Ball here. Just a Blacephalon. That's nothing to write home about at the moment. I am going to thin a little bit more. And then Stellar Wish. Oh, a Welder. Nice. Oh, even a switch would be even better. That way we can switch into the Blacephalon and take the knockout here. So we guarantee ourselves the knockout. Probably could have just gone for the Welder, but this guarantees us a prize. We are now 3 prizes away from winning in whatever this matchup is. And hopefully we can get ourselves something decent off of the prizes. We've got a Fire Energy, so that's acceptable. It'll help us knock out things like Jirachis or even Surfetcheds. But here's the thing, right? They could potentially knock me out this turn, which would be very concerning. Another Erica's to draw some more cards. More Farfetch'd. Here comes the Swanner, so maybe it is a Birdkeeper related deck after all. A couple of quick balls as well to fill up that last bench space. It's going to be a Mew, so they're going to try and lock me out from using Cramorant, or they're going to thin the Mew out of their deck, which is, both of those are acceptable. I obviously don't have another Cramorant, but my opponent's not to know that. We'll see what happens here. They've got triple acceleration onto the Swanner and a Scoop Up, so they're going to be able to use, is it Feather Slice? I believe it is. And that'll knock me out. 140 damage. So I don't really know what we can do here other than just promote Jirachi and hope for the best. And that's pretty much our only plan. Oh, a Welder. Suddenly other options are opening up for us. We top deck the best card in the deck. We absolutely need this. We really need it. Welder onto the Blacephalon. Here we go. Let's see if we can't get this knockout on Swanner here. We got a Fire Energy. Probably shouldn't have attached that, but that's okay. And we don't have access to anything else, so not a problem. Not a problem at all. It's a big problem. I'm lying. But we get to use Intrepid Sword, which is cool. So we'll just throw all these cards down, and then Intrepid Sword, if they can take a knockout, then that's great. If not, then I'm going to regret putting down the second Jirachi or the second Blacephalon. Didn't need to put them down. I'm starting to notice a bit of a pattern as well, guys, that when I'm playing games for the channel, I do dumb things and then immediately recognize that that thing was dumb. It's a bit of a problem, but that's okay. We've been Marnied, also a problem. We don't have any switch. Our opponent has taken another knockout, but we don't need a switch if we've got Fire Crystal and Energy in hand, which we do. Means we're going to be able to take ourselves a knockout. There is a switch. Okay. We can take a knockout on this Swanner here. I think we might want to like attach to the Blacephalon on the bench and then just Fireball Circus away the 3 energies that are in our hand. Just means that now we've got a little bit more flexibility if we can find Welder. The issue will be though, if we find Boss and they don't knock our Blacephalon out, then we might have wanted to hold on to the energy to try and take a knockout on the Oricorio on the bench. But at the moment, I'm feeling pretty safe. Like, what do they need to get this Surfetch'd attacking? They need Twin Energy or Triple Colorless Energy. They need a Fighting Belt, whatever it's called, and a Switch. So let's see if they've got them. The Twin Energy in play. Ordinary Rod as well. I'll chuck a couple of Pokemon back in by the looks of it. Surfetch'd and Swanner going back into the deck. And a couple of Fighting Energy too. Then a Stellar Wish. We'll see whether or not they can grab something interesting. Marnie off of that Stellar Wish. We might see that being played here. I'll give us a look at 4 new cards, which I don't mind because these 4 are kind of average. No, they're just going to go for Boss's Orders, so maybe trying to stick that Zacian in the active here. That's not good. That's a bad, bad move because I have a switch in hand. Not that he was to know. We have a Quick Ball as well. We can get rid of Blacephalon and grab Dedenne. We can switch into the Blacephalon in the bench. I think I'm going to use Ordinary Rod here as well. Let me just double check. There's 8 energy in the bin. I think I'm going to use Ordinary Rod to put at least 2 energy back in. I don't think we need Pokemon. We just need these energies I want to give myself as good a chance of drawing into them as possible. I can attach to the Blacephalon and then Dedenne. As long as I find one fire, I should be fine. Look at that, found a ton of them. Based on that, we've got Fire Crystal and Energy Retrieval for days. I will use, well, how many have we got here? 4, there's about 6 in there. So we can use Fire Crystal. I might hold on to the Retrieval. I don't think that we really need to use that. I'll just discard the 1. That second from the left seems like the right one to discard. We've got one more prize left to take. I don't know how we've done it. We've managed to beat a 1 prize deck, taking singular prizes with Blacephalon, but I guess we haven't had a lot of pressure put on us, have we? Although, to be fair, we're about to lose a Blacephalon here. If we do, we just return the knockout and win the game. Though, in saying that, is there a way that they could win? Yeah, they just gust energy attach on the Dedenne. Marnie. Okay, cool. So we shouldn't lose here, unless they've got like a random great catcher, which could potentially come out and create havoc. Here comes the Dance of Tribute. They've got the fighting energy on the active. All they need is a gust. So if they have one, they could potentially win the game this turn on that Dedenne. But no, it's a Meteor Assaults, and that means we are going to be able to promote the Blacephalon on the bench, attach an energy, and then Fire Crystal or Giant Hearth or both, and take a big knockout. Look at this. Blacephalon's won 3 games. I can't believe it. Well played to my opponent. I'll go for the world. Oh yeah, of course it doesn't work because I've already won. Oh well. I don't know how that happened. So 3 victories with Blacephalon. Obviously, very meta-relevant matchups that we beat there. All of those decks at the top tier right at the moment. Whether or not that's true is up for interpretation, but the deck worked, and that's the most important thing. Baby Blacephalon is still capable of taking big knockouts, so definitely make sure that you test it out if you have enjoyed this deck in the past. Me personally, I didn't, so I won't be, but I've played my games with it now. Take a look at the list in the description if you're interested. It's down there so you can test it out for yourself. Thank you for coming along. I really appreciate your company. If you'd like to subscribe, consider doing that. Like the video as well. Share it with your friends. Print out the description. Stick it up on your office wall and tell everyone to watch the video. That'd be great. On the left-hand side of the screen, a couple of videos YouTube thinks you like, and on the bottom right corner is a playlist for more Darkness Ablaze deck profiles and gameplay. Thank you everyone for enduring this, that last game especially. We'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.